Welcome back to Decadorks. We're the 12-sided guys. We have Scott as Ornan,
At your service.
Sabrina as Sylvie,
Oh, hello.
Jordan as Mogrim,
You are most welcome.
Matt as Guy,
That is my name. Don't wear it out.
and me, Paul, as the nice guy who let our players level up the Manticore. Is this the one we're going with? Manticore?
I looked it up, and there's like a bunch of different businesses and other like streamers and things that are named Manticore. So it wasn't as original as I thought.
Well, for this intro, we're going to call you the Manticore because it's already written. As the nice guy, as the nice guy who let our players level up the Manticore, CORPS, to level 5. Psst, come here. A little closer.
Okay.
Closer.
All right.
Too close.
Whoa.
There.
Sorry, our noses
There.
touched.
There.
What did you have for lunch? It smells delicious.
I had bow cub thing.
Bop.
Cup bop. I don't want anyone else to overhear this. See, they think I'm being nice by letting them level up to level 5, but really, now that they have more skills, attacks, and HP, I can raise the challenge level exponentially. Have fun with your 2 attacks when you're turned to a stone by a Gorgon, or hey, there's something we haven't seen for a while, Fireball. Shh, not so loud. This is our little secret. Oh. So as I was saying, leave a review, become a patron, and buy something. Anyway, if you felt the challenge rating was set a little too high as you wandered through Yeez, then this podcast is for you. It's Chorus of the Forsaken, episode 14. It is not YS. It's not Wise. It is Yeez.
I thought
Really?
it's Yeez or Ease. I thought it was Ease.
I always said ease in my head.
So it's Yeez. And the problem is the apostrophe is not supposed to be there. It is YS. That's it.
That still wouldn't. I don't know if that's the problem. It's still a single letter followed by an S.
I don't know that I can trust you on any naming conventions anymore after this whole Frankenstein's
Hey, you know,
mom.
I went to YouTube and I listened to like a 30-minute podcast about Yeez. So thank you for joining us last week as we took a little break and joined into a random saved game. But we are back now in Vio Severia. Right where we left off last time, basically outside of the ruin where our players, the Manticore, no, we're not going with that one. That's right. We changed our mind. Where they went through this dungeon, this ruin, and found multiple treasures and even solved a bit of a puzzle. We are now joining our players as they recuperate and rest outside of the ruin, along with all of the people they've been traveling with in this caravan. And as they sit around the fire, we have Dilar, we have Tobias, Gardenia, Ryla, Calden. We have the wrapped up Serena, Selena, Sabrina. We have this family off to the side. And we have our players.
Serena, Selena, Sabrina sounds like a 50s doo-wop group.
But as you all are sitting around the fire, a certain shorter member of your group writes a letter.
Kino, it's only been a few days, but already so many exciting things have happened. I've enclosed the tooth of a manticore. That's that big bump that you felt in the letter before you opened, and by the time you're reading this, you've probably already been playing around with it, maybe even lost it. Anyway, it was the tooth of a manticore. When we started camping out, that third night, we were attacked by a couple of these fellers, and we rightly fought them off. The battle was dangerous, but we survived. And I plucked out a tooth for you. But you'll never believe what else happened. We also, we found the bloody tracks of an old friend. We followed him deep into a crypt of an old queen of some sorts or some other. Used to live here in this land, well, a long time ago. But you'd never believe this part. Some of the statues actually came to life. They were swiping at us and attacking us while we were moving along. Now, we also tried to solve a puzzle. Well, we were mostly successful with that. We found some money down there. Now, when I arrive in Redlam, I'll find a way to have most of this sent out to you and your mother. And now, make sure that Gemma sets a lot of it aside for you when you get older so that you can buy yourself a little place and maybe start your own little business. Look forward to these letters and hopefully, as often as I can, a little bit of money along with each one. Yours always, Uncle Ornan.
Aww.
As you are all sitting around this campfire outside these ruins, we'll say this is a little bit later in the night. People have already kind of eaten. You've kind of explained. Well, first, I think maybe we need to figure out what all you did tell to everybody. So,
all that Guy said was, "Don't open the doors."
Ryla's like, "Why not? What's going on?"
I'm pretty sure that whoever opens that doors is going to get crushed by a giant stone fist.
Or a stone sword, or were they steel? I can't remember.
Steel sword wielded by giant stone fist.
There we go.
Okay. So there's some questions like, what was down there? What did you find? Tobias seems interested. Gardenia seems interested.
A couple of vases and some tiny statues. That's all.
Yes, let me hand you these 3 vases we found and this statue made out of stone. And maybe you can put these.
Oh, I was just gonna say I wouldn't minimize our conflict, Guy. We did fight that giant stone creature for these gorgeous vases. They must be worth something.
They're very old, and I'm sure they could fetch a price for the Duke.
Baron.
For the Baron.
Thank you. I
Duke is the name of the Baron's dog.
That's right. That's right.
All right, you hand over these priceless
he keeps
artifacts.
biting guards. No, that's Major. Never mind. Major is the president's dog.
Now they're having issues with the next one. Commander.
Oh my gosh.
So I gave him 3 of the 5 vases I found and the 3 stone statues. So I kept the gold one and I kept 2 vases.
All right. Yeah, Tobias and Gardenia walk off a little bit, and they kind of find a place to keep them relatively safe in the wagon that's full of other treasures. As you guys are sitting around this campfire, talking with people, Kaladin is interested in what's going on. Delar wants to hear all of the stories, like any 10-year-old kid would want to hear. You have people starting to bed down for the night as you guys are. Sitting around the campfire. You also have Serena, who's wrapped up. She begins to stir a little bit. She's not awake yet, but she begins to stir. And Tobias and Ryla are talking, and then Tobias turns back towards the group. He says, "All right, we need to have watches, as we've had every night since." We just kind of skipped it because we weren't actually role-playing every night. He's like, who should take the first watch? Do we have volunteers for the first watch?
I'll take the first watch.
And who will watch with Guy?
I think Kaladin should definitely watch with Guy. I think that would be a great idea.
Okay. Kaladin says, "Yeah, I'll stay up with Guy." And second watch.
I can take the second watch. Make sure Kaladin and Guy didn't get up to anything too crazy.
Whatever do you mean? And Dealer's like, "Yeah, what do you mean?"
Yeah, Sylvie, what do you mean?
Who will watch with Sylvie?
So actually, Sylvie, can you make an insight check to that?
I rolled a 17.
Yeah, you get that. Guy may want to talk to you about Kaladin, but he's not looking to get up to anything tonight.
Ooh. All right. And who's going to watch with Sylvie?
Well, I would be happy to.
Okay. And third watch?
I can take the third watch.
All right. And who will watch with Ornan? And Gardenia says, "I'll watch with Ornan."
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Me too, honestly.
All right. In fact, hey, everybody, here, I got to do something. Everybody watching the map?
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't see it. Nothing's happening for. Oh my goodness, she's a queen.
Did she level up too?
As everybody leveled up, so did Gardenia.
She cut her hair? Oh my goodness.
She got her own custom
She
token.
looks a little bit like Paul Atreides. I'm not going to lie. but like hot. I mean,
I mean, Paul was hot too, you
I
know?
know, seriously.
So, anyway, Gardenia leveled up to her own token and not just the generic guard token anymore. So,
Guys, we gotta level up as many of these people as we can.
Seriously.
hey, D-Law, do you want to spar?
Dealer's already kind of curled up and dozing. All right. Well, very good. So Gardenia will stay up with Ornan. All right. Everybody starts to wander off and kind of go to sleep. Is there anything that anybody wants to talk about before, watches start while you guys are all still awake?
Well, maybe we should have a quick conversation about some of the things that happened down there. Just us.
Okay. Galvin's like, oh, okay. I guess I can. I'll just go. Just wake me when you're ready to start our watch. I'll just rest my eyes for a bit. And he goes over and lays down on his bedroll. Dilar is already fast asleep. The family has all kind of tucked down, tucked away for the night.
So is it just us at this point?
Ryla and Tobias are kind of talking over in the corner, but yeah, you guys are just the four of you, and it looks like Serena is also right there close by, but she's still unconscious.
Okay. I will say to everybody, I've been thinking about it over the past few days, and this is in a whisper. I don't know how much I feel I can trust Calden.
Because of his mother?
It's not just because of his mother. His mother was so obviously guilty. The more I think back on it, the more I think it could have been staged. I don't know. I think maybe I'm just overthinking everything, but...
Didn't he also suggest trying to burn it down?
Yes. But he's also the one who was insistent on getting down there. Let me tell you what I've been thinking, okay? Let me tell you what I've been thinking. Every couple of years, he could come back, kill his mother's current lover, and then go away. Sneaking, whatever. He very easily could have been the one to kill the servants even before I met with him down in the basement to try to unlock that safe. I know so much of the evidence pointed to his mother, but if this were, I don't know, a Law and Order episode, they would say, objection circumstantial.
That's true. I don't know, though. It seems strange that he would wait to the second night to kill all those servants and stuff. He wouldn't have known that you weren't going to bust in the first night.
I didn't make it into the vault. I don't know. Anyway, honestly, I just want to be done with the Silver Crests. And I think I'm just going to let him sleep tonight and do a watch by myself, see if Serena's maybe rousing, and maybe I'll get some information from her.
Well, I think a bit of caution is always wise, especially in a situation like this where worshipping an evil god is it's a little scary.
Yeah. And I know that our listeners are going to hate that I don't think Calden and I are ever going to get married, but...
Wait, when you turned that direction, who were you looking at? Who's over there that you were talking to?
Enemies to lovers.
Anyway, so that's what I'm feeling. And like I said, I'm feeling torn, I'm feeling extremely paranoid. I don't know if it's just in my head or if I'm overreacting, but for right now that's how I feel, and I'm ready to get to Redlam and move on.
Well, should we divvy up some of these items we found? We don't know what they do yet. I wanted to do this away from Tobias.
Who's taking a watch together? Are either of you taking a watch together?
I'll be taking a watch with Sylvie.
Maybe you two could take a look at the items while it's just the two of you. But again, I think that we should keep them secreted away, just so that... I like Tobias, but I also don't want him to try to claim anything from this area because it technically is potentially in the Baron's lands and could potentially be, owned by him legally or whatever.
Yeah, we can just keep him in my backpack till we're ready to pull him out.
Yeah, no, I'd be happy to inspect those during my watch. That would be very exciting.
Okay, well, that's all I have. Anything else? Anybody else giving anybody the creeps? I know that old lady is creepy, but maybe it's just because she's old and old people are scary.
Well, it also looks like the Dungeon Master used a different AI software to generate that token.
It does appear to be a very different style.
Oh,
It's definitely. Whoa, she is a lot older than I
God.
thought.
How old is this one, Paul? 35?
I told you,
why is your face melting?
I'm pretty sure I described her as venerable. I
Yes.
said venerable.
Yes,
Ugh.
venerable after having acid thrown on her face. Good
Yes,
grief.
those growths on her cheek are venerable.
Hey, Paul, can you give us a mail token next time that we can really criticize their looks? I'm feeling a little uncomfortable here.
Look at this guy. He's going bald.
Womp womp.
He looks like his name should be Brian, and I know I'm married to a Brian, but he looks like a guy whose name is Brian.
No, that guy's name is Henry. Henry the Henry.
I know, I almost didn't swipe right on Tinder because Brian
Henry
was
Skinner,
sus.
we said.
Did you just say you almost didn't swipe right because the name Brian is sus?
That's great.
So good. I love it.
All right. Well, yeah. Anything else anybody wants to say before we separate? I'll see if Serena rouses. Maybe she'll have some information about what happened, and I can fill her in on kind of steering clear of Tobias. Honestly, I don't know if he would care. He was pretty forgiving.
Yeah, you get the impression, I think you all got the impression, he was so focused on figuring out how to save his own skin from like by getting the money for the taxes that he overlooked a lot of things.
Yeah, I still don't think it's anything we want to flaunt, though.
Right.
Yeah, why don't you guys make insight checks? I mean, you guys probably already thought of this, but just make an insight check. Or passive. What's your passive insight?
Oh yeah, let's use some passives. That's an 11.
Passive insight's 13 for Ornan.
For Mogram, it's 17.
Ooh.
Sylvia's 10.
I would say Ornan and Mogram. I think the same thought passes both of your minds that, Tobias is distracted now, but that doesn't mean he will always be distracted. Correct? And so, at this point in time, he is overlooking a lot of things, but doesn't mean he's not remembering what's going on. So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know we've all had a discussion back at the All the Way In about some of the things we can all do. Maybe I've seen things that you guys can do that really rightly just confuse me.
Yeah, you have a pet ghost worm.
Oh, Ephos, yeah, she's harmless.
No, she's not. I've seen her bite people.
She's harmless. That's like
I'd rather have a purple worm than whatever Mogram has.
Yes.
That's terrifying.
That Hinky Punk is horrifying.
But he's very cute. Yes, he steals people's souls, but he's a very cute one.
Where does he put the soul? Like when he pulls it out, he rips it up, and where is he putting it?
He's
I don't know. I've never
in his
asked
overall bib.
Is that why he's carrying a knife and fork? He's just gobbling up the soul?
him. Yum, 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 yum.
No, here's the thing. Prancival is cute. Hinky Punk is disturbing.
This is true.
Hey, Sylvie, do you happen to have some kind of strange, ethereal, magical-based creature that you can also summon?
I don't.
Sucks to be you.
It kind of does, actually.
Wait, I thought that was one of the requisites to be part of this group.
I was trying to think of a good name for our party, and all I'm coming up with is the magical animal summoners, but that doesn't work if Sylvie can't do it.
Well, I one time had this dream that I was really close to a badger, but it was ripped away from me in the dead of night by a cruel and uncaring god.
I'm a god. Thank you so much.
I mean, in this game, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's all right.
All right. Well, I'm doing my watch tonight because I think that I think we were right when we said that the manticorps were the primary predators in this area. So tonight we're probably not going to face any danger from predators. Maybe scavengers coming after the corpses. Who knows? But I'm going to try to keep a close eye on the inhabitants of the camp tonight.
specifically Kaladin or anybody else we should keep an eye out for?
Again, that old lady, but I don't want to be like super shallow and chauvinist.
I do want to talk. Well, I mean, I know she's not feeling well, but Selena, Sabrina, Serena, I do want to know what she was doing or what she discovered down in that area.
Well, I'm worried she probably just went there for some cover when the Manticore were fighting, or maybe trying to eat her. But I could be wrong.
All right. Well, as you guys kind of wind down your conversation, it's getting harder and harder to have a private conversation as other people stop talking, and it gets quieter and quieter out here in the Shadowpines as you are camping for the night outside of these ruins. For our first watch, we have Guy and Calden. Now, Guy, you had said that you were going to let Calden sleep and you were going to keep watch by yourself. Is that something you still would like to do?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you kind of walk around. So you guys have lit like torches and you keep them like stuck in the ground around. So one of the things you have to do is walk around and make sure the torches stay lit, replace torches that might go out over time, make sure there's nothing like sneaking up on the horses who are just a little ways off.
And apparently I also need to make sure that I'm consistently, capturing my urine for for Mogrim
For
to
science,
use.
don't worry about it.
You mean that wasn't just part of that crazy fever dream? That's a true part?
Well, actually, that is how they used to make phosphorus stuff way back in the day, was boiling down urine.
Oh, gosh. Ugh. So, Guy, as you are walking around and keeping an eye out, I would like you to make either perception or survival check.
All right, I made a perception check and I got a 13.
13 perception. As you are walking around, I'd say this is not your first time doing a watch and like keeping an eye on all the people who are here. Maybe it's just because you're a little bit more on edge about Calden as you've been thinking things through. You are acutely aware of people who are not sleeping restfully. I think instinctively, that's not that big of a deal. They're sleeping on the floor. It's raining. It is fantasy fall at this point. I guess it's just autumn. I guess it's not fantasy autumn.
Fantasy footfall.
It is. Gosh, it is. It's autumn at this point. It's the beginnings of autumn, but it's getting cold, and it's been a rainy and muddy journey. At this point, you're under some trees, so you're staying kind of dry. But you notice that there are a few people who are not really sleeping restfully, tossing and turning. Tobias is one of them. Calden is one of them. You notice that the young girl who's part of the family, she tosses, and the old lady who is with them as well, she does not seem to be sleeping restfully. Everybody else seems to be sleeping pretty well. At one point, Guy, as you're walking around by yourself, I think you're just kind of walking over to look at the horses, and suddenly you feel something slip. And at first, you're not sure what it is, and you start reaching for your waist. You're like, "Did my sword fall out? What happened?" And you realize as you're reaching your book, the book you carry on your hip slides off of your belt and hits the ground.
Ugh. That's all. Ugh.
Yeah. Okay. You look down and you see that your book is lying there on the ground. It's kind of hit on its spine and it opened up.
All right. I'm going to pick up the book and go nearer to a torch and kind of see what page it's opened to. I will say this for our listeners. There's plenty in this book that Guy has not been able to piece out. Peace
out, yo. Thanks.
That he's not been able. That was my Kip Dynamite impression. Anyway, there's plenty in this book that he hasn't been able to figure out. It's written in multiple dialects over what appears to be generations of a family that kind of had this in their possession, and so he's basically only so far been able to figure out the most recent entries in this book. So he's interested to see what page it opens to.
Yeah, as you go and you look at the torchlight, this is a page that you don't remember reading before. It is basically pretty much a blank page. except for written at the bottom is a name. And it's written in a kind of an elegant handwriting. It's definitely not your handwriting. This is like an elegant script, almost calligraphy. And the name is Draven Heartwood.
Draven Heartwood. Let me write that down.
Yes, Draven Hartwood.
Do I recognize that name?
I'm not even going to make you roll. No, you do not recognize that name.
Interesting. Do I recognize the handwriting that this name is written in from elsewhere in the book?
Make a history or investigation check.
Okay, I rolled a 12 history.
It looks, I'll say that it doesn't look like anyone's specific that you can pin down, but you get like just the way that the letters are written with the curly Q's and the serif, whatever, I don't know, whatever, the feet and the edges and everything. It looks to be not modern. It's so like the letters are not written the way that somebody would write them modern in modern days.
Right. So instead of a TH, they use the thorn.
Yeah, something like that. Or they use like the cursive Z to represent two S's in a row type of thing.
Gotcha.
Would it be approximately something used about 200 to 500 years ago?
I mean, potentially. It could have been. It could be even older.
Okay. Draven Heartwood. Okay. Interesting. More to ponder on.
Yeah. Other than that, your watch goes fairly uneventful. You don't even hear the typical like predators that you would hear kind of off in the distance. You know, coyotes howling, or just like the movement of things in the trees. Owls.
No owls live here. Yeah.
Yeah. The Manticore. Very territorial and definitely kept this place for themselves.
Did Serena wake up more, or is she still just stirring?
She's still just stirring. She's still just like she's another one who's not sleeping restfully.
Then when my turn is over, I'll go kind of nudge Magrim on his boot. Hey, Magrim, it's your turn to watch.
Oh, it's that time, huh? Okay. Magrim gets up.
And then I'm going to go over and kneel down gently next to Sylvie and give her a gentle little nudge on the shoulder. Sylvie, wake up.
Oh, you scared me. Don't sneak up on me like that.
I was trying so hard to be like super charming. It's your watch. Good night.
She's got like snot dripping down her face, a little bit of drool on the pillow.
Yeah, this is not necessarily a comfortable night of sleep either. I mean, the fire keeps spitting and everything because it's not actively like pouring down rain, but it's just that constant drizzle tonight.
Okay, and then I'm going to go over and lay on the kind of the seat area of the wagon I've been pulling over by where Coco and Mibbles are tied up.
Yes. Fantastic. Okay. Magrim and Sylvie, you are now awake.
Do we have the loot to kind of look over?
Yes.
If that's what we plan on doing.
Yeah, I'd say you have the loot. You have it's all still in Ornan's bag, I think, but you guys have access to it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll go over there and kind of grab a few things so we can kind of look them over and maybe see if together we can suss out some of the things that they can do.
Perfect. Okay.
You seem like you know a lot about this, Magrim. I feel like together we can really figure out what these things are meant to do.
Yes, I feel like between your arcana and my arcana, perhaps we can, gain some favorable dice rolls.
Perhaps we arcana gain some favorable dice rolls.
I was literally just going to say that. I was finishing my sip.
Sorry,
you know what?
Say it, Sabrina.
No, Sabrina, be glad you didn't say it. It was terrible. All right, let's see. Okay.
He really took a bullet for you there.
Yes. All right, so we'll say this. Some of the items that you have on hand from our last time together in main campaign. You have, we'll call it the Princess's Bracelet. You have the Queen's Scepter. You have the Vassal's Shield. Those are the three that you got from the statue room that you actually fought the statues. You have the Helmet of the Kneeler, that's what we'll call that one. And then you have, you determined that the map was not magical, but you do have the crown. kind of the tiara, which we will call, what did we call that? The tiara of the Forgotten Queen. And then we have the 2 suits of armor. We have like the studded leather armor, and we have the breastplate adorned with images of horses.
Breastplate is sick.
It is very sick.
You guys want to try to figure out what that one does first?
Sure.
Yeah, I think the horses are pretty cool. Guy would like that.
Why don't you guys make an Arcana check with advantage? One of you make it as you guys are helping each other.
He is kind of a horse girl.
We'll say difficulty 15.
I got a +7. Do you want to go or you want me to?
I've got a +8. I can try and roll it.
Go for it.
With advantage, 22.
Awesome. As you are looking at this breastplate, you determine the horses must mean something, right? I mean, this armor is spotless after being down in that pit in the ruin for centuries, and you determine that this is a breastplate. It's called the equine armor, and basically it's a breastplate that gives you advantage to animal handling when you are dealing with horses. So, like if you are doing mounted combat and you want to, avoid damage for your horse, or whatever, this would give you advantage on all those checks.
This is interesting. I feel that perhaps Guy or Ornan might be able to benefit from this, especially given Guy's proficiency with vehicles land. It may pair
he has
nicely.
mentioned that he's very good at that.
Yes.
But he also said he's good at breaking into safes, so I'm not sure he's his best reporter.
He's 1 for 1.
Gosh.
Yes, I don't know how much we can truly trust of Guy. In fact, I don't think Guy is his name at all.
Oh my, scandalous.
Scandal indeed. Well, let's see what the other stuff is.
I'll say that with the amount of time you have on your watch, you can check for 2 more items. So a total of 3 items you can try to figure out. So what else strikes your fancy?
Maybe like the crown and the bracelet. They look probably pretty valuable, or maybe the scepter and the crown.
I feel like the bracelet would be a good one, just because it would be a little bit easier for us to wear without drawing attention. I'm not sure I can pull off a tiara as easily as I might be able to hide this bracelet.
What? Wearing this tiara the whole time. What?
With the plague mask.
Just underneath your hat, right?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Let's do the bracelet then.
Okay. All right, so make Arcana check. One of you make it with advantage, difficulty 15.
Do you want to try it this time?
No, go for it. That +1 could be make us or break us.
Fair enough. 19.
19. Okay. So we'll call this the princess's bracelet. And this is a silver bracelet. It's adorned with pearls. And this, I think that judging back on where the bracelet was, it was on this statue of this young woman about ready to dance, a very cute, very kind of charming young woman, that this bracelet actually has 3 charges, and it allows you to cast Charm Person with each charge. Difficulty 13 is the save, and it's 3 charges, and then at dawn it regains 1d3 expended charges, and this does not require attunement. Oh wait, sorry, yes, no, sorry, this does require attunement. Sorry, this does require attunement.
Okay.
Well, at least it could win us some friends.
Yes, is this something that might be interesting to you?
Possibly. I mean, I do think it would look spectacular on me, to be honest.
Well, why don't you go ahead and carry this one then?
All right, I will put that on and start attuning to it.
And then what was the last thing you wanted to look at? The helmet?
Yes, perhaps the helmet?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Difficulty 15 Arcana.
Right. 21.
Okay, this is the helmet of the kneeler. This is a helmet that you imagine represents when this queen gave up her crown and became a vassal and became a servant and guardian of her new liege. the king of Meyerloff. This visored helmet, it's well made, but it's in a style that's not currently in common use. I described it as like a horn skull or like a pig nose bassinet. If you want to look that up, Google that. And while you are attuned to this helmet, you gain +1 to your AC. And if you don't have dark vision, you gain dark vision out to 60 feet if you have the visor down. If you already have dark vision, then the helmet will actually increase your dark vision range by 60 more feet.
Ah, interesting. We'll have to see how this can perhaps prove useful in the future.
And what I need you guys to do is also just kind of a general intelligence. Just make an intelligence check, both of you, separately.
Sylvie rolled a 21.
Malcolm got a 13.
As you guys are looking at these different little treasures and things and trying to figure out what they do, you feel pretty good about what you managed to decipher. And as you're spending all this time doing this, Sylvie at one point remembers, oh, crap, yeah, we probably better go and check on the torches and make sure that they all stay lit. So you did not manage to totally botch your watch. You did keep the torches lit, and you did manage to remember that there's a reason why you guys were staying up, and it was not just to look at these treasures. Very good. At this point, your watch is done.
Is Serena still asleep?
Serena's still asleep.
Hey, who was next? Remind me who we said.
It was Ornan and Gardenia.
I was next. Talking in my sleep.
Okay.
Sylvie will go over and rustle Gardenia.
You'll wrestle her?
Oh.
Rustle. I'll rustle her.
She sits up. She's like, oh, of course. Thank you very much, Sylvie.
Thank you.
And she stands up looking so much mightier and more powerful than she did before. In fact, she's wearing different armor. Like her AC went up by 2. She got like 28 more hit points and everything.
Wow.
She went from being a 1/8 challenge rating to like a 2 challenge rating. So that's pretty cool.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Watch
yeah.
her die first in the next combat. I know.
She survived all this crap that you guys have gone through. All right, very good. So she wakes up, and Ornan, you wake up as well.
Oh, well, anything eventful happen while I was sleeping?
Well, no, we had a chance to look over some of these artifacts.
Fascinating.
We discovered some good stuff.
That's quite exciting.
Gardenia's all, oh yeah, what'd you find?
Yeah. No, she's still kind of like getting herself situated as you guys are having this little conversation.
We'll have to talk about that on the road. You guys go get some sleep. You deserve it.
All right. So now, Ornan, it is you and Gardenia. I want you to make either perception or survival as you are doing your
I'm better at survival, but I'm not great at rolling. I got a 9.
Oh, jeez.
As you and Gardenia are kind of walking around doing your rounds, you stay together, you chat. She asks you all about things like, oh, well, how did you decide to start making mycelium meat? I didn't know that was even possible.
Oh, that's a delicacy from down in Glimhaven, where I'm from. We grow all sorts of things out of mushrooms. It's quite tasty.
Glimhaven? I don't know where that is. Tell me about it.
Well, I'll tell you as much as I know, which let me go and write some background stuff real quick.
I think that the point is that you and Gardenia just start talking, and you are both soldiers basically. I mean, she's a mercenary basically, but she's a soldier for the Baron, right? She works for the barony, and you have that history of being a soldier, being kind of military, and she's very interested in you and kind of your interests. So I think she gets you talking, and you start to talk instead of do your watch. So with your survival of 9, that is what happens during your watch, is you and Gardenia talk.
Okay.
And the sun, you can't see the sun because of the clouds and the rain, but it does start to come up and people start to rouse.
Can I make an insight check? Because I would have woken up about 2 hours into their watch.
Okay.
I want to know, is Gardenia flirting?
Okay. You can make an insight check, yes.
Oh, sweet, I got an 18. How into Ornan is Gardenia?
You sense that Gardenia respects Ornan.
Well, that's boring.
But you are now awake. Is there anything that you want to do during this last 2 hours?
I'm just listening to the conversation is all.
There is something Ornan would want to say or ask Gardenia before most people are waking up. So, in these last couple of weeks that we've known, well, maybe just a week that we've known each other, you've seen some things about me and my friends. I know I mentioned it below the keep, but we really need your discretion on not talking about what you saw any of us do.
She looks down at you. She puts her hand on your shoulder, not in a patronizing way, but just like in a camaraderie way. She says,
not in a flirtatious way either.
Not in a flirtatious way. She says, you and I have bled together. Therefore, you and I share a bond, and I would not turn my back on you, someone who has saved my life on more than one occasion in this short amount of time. You have my word that I will not turn my back on you. And then she leans in closer and she says, I cannot say the same necessarily for Tobias.
Well, that's rightly what I'm worried about. I wouldn't like to see my friends or me put up on a lamplighter's pyre. So, I'm trying to figure out how to approach this subject with good old Tobias, or maybe we just kind of disappear once we get to Redlam.
She thinks about it for a second. She says, well, I tell you what, I will be close to Tobias until this is all done. If I hear or sense anything that might be a sign that he's turning on you or your friends, tell me where you are and I will get word to you. How does that sound?
That sounds wonderful. I'll let you know what the inn is that we find when we get to Redlam.
Fantastic. Very good. Okay. The sun comes up. You are all waking up and get ready to travel again.
And I feel so much stronger for some reason.
Yes.
Does Kaladin say anything about his missed shift?
No. It doesn't. Anyone with passive perception above a 12 will recognize that Kaladin starts giving sideways, sidelong glances at Guy. Not like longing glances, but like he's maybe a little confused. But he also doesn't come up to Guy and talk to him about it.
No, we don't talk about feelings.
Yeah, he just kind of clams up a little bit.
Guy doesn't talk about feelings. He talks about horses.
I wanted to roll an insight to see what Ornan, because I wasn't part of the previous conversation, so I just wanted to make sure. And I got a nat 20.
Oh my gosh. A nat 20 on insight about Kaladin?
Yeah, just because I didn't catch I wasn't privy to the conversations between Guy and Sylvie and that Kaladin wasn't woken up and all that. So I just wanted to make sure what I understood.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Kaladin, you just sense that Kaladin felt like he was on sure footing, and now he is moving about the camp and the rest of the day as someone who's not sure where he stands anymore. Does that make sense?
Well, also at the same time, because we're still riding in the same wagon for 2 more days. So Guy would definitely say, "Oh, you look so tired. I just let you sleep."
Why don't you make a deception check?
I'm good at them. It's a 17.
Kaladin kind of nods. He says, yeah, it's been rough traveling. It's been rough sleeping with all the rain, and I just have never been much of a traveler. I prefer the city life. I'm looking forward to getting to Redlam. And then the conversation kind of turns and things kind of ease out a little bit. We are going to jump forward in time.
During that time that we're jumping forward, though,
yes.
Guy absolutely falls in love with Coco and Mibbles.
All right.
Like also, Prancible's sitting on the driver's seat next to him, and he's not even paying any attention to cute little Prancible. It's all about the horses.
Gotcha. Well, we are going. Oh, Pranciple. Well, Pranciple is Delar and Pranciple have just created this this bond. You see that Delar also has been playing. There's this other child here on the caravan. This young girl who's part of this family from Knuckle Creek. It seems like Delar and her might know each other, or at least in passing, because they're both from Knuckle Creek. And they start playing together a little bit on the trip, walking alongside the wagons or talking together inside the wagon, and playing with Pranciple as well. As we fast forward, late on that next day of travel, so this will be a total of day 4 out of Beregrad, Serena wakes up. Her eyes flutter open. She starts reaching for the bandages that are on her face. She is in the wagon with you all. Tobias and Gardenia are in a wagon behind you, and then Ryla and that family are in the wagon in front of you. So you guys are kind of in the middle. And Serena starts to wake up. Starts to, where am I? What's going on? And she starts reaching for the gauze and things that you have put over her face to kind of try to hide her. Short of cutting her hair, that was the best disguise you guys had.
Good to see you, Serena. Glad you're awake.
Oh, she's awake. Serena, welcome back to the land of the living.
The last I remember, I was trying to set up a camp, and you're not supposed to travel alone, but it came out of nowhere. I heard the roars, and I didn't know where it was coming from, and suddenly they were on me, and lions with wings and scorpion tails, but no poison for some reason. I don't know why. And
they're called manticores. CORPS.
Yeah.
And they look like this. And Guy's gonna hold up one of the skins in the back of the cart that they got skinned off.
Yeah. You guys got 2 skins, two full skins. So like horse size or cow size skins of these lions with these wings. And so yes, that was them. I tried to get away, but I got into that ruin, and then I couldn't stay awake any longer, and I fell asleep, and I thought I was done for. So I suppose I have you to thank for rescuing me.
I mean, if you want to put it like that, that's not how I would have said it, but...
Yeah, I basically saved your life, yeah.
It was a team effort, and we are glad that you're back with us.
She kind of like looks around, and she's like, "Why is my eye damaged? What happened to my face?"
How close is Tobias?
Tobias, he's in a wagon, probably about 15 feet ahead of you. There's the creaking of the wagons. There's the rain coming down. You can whisper and not be worried about being overheard.
Well, this was an idea of Magram's, I think, to keep your identity a secret from girl Tobias back there. So we'll keep those on until we get to Redlam, and we can get you to some a safe distance away from him.
She kind of like she gets a little bit scared, and she's like, "Tobias is here, the tax collector, the one who I shot at."
Yeah, the one who pushed you off a balcony.
Yes, it is better if you perhaps keep that bandage over your face, and I will continue to treat you as though I'm your physician. I think you'll be fine. You don't have any wounds on your head, but you may still be recovering from all of that has transpired.
Yes, she starts looking around. She's like, "Do you have my bag? Did you gather my things? I have a letter to Brenneth that I must send."
Oh.
Wait, Brenneth was... No, it's...
Yeah, wasn't this guy Henry or something?
Henry. Brenneth was the tanner, the skinner.
Oh, Brenneth. Oh, I've been having an affair with Brenneth.
You're going out to Knuckle Creek.
No, it's Henry. That's right. I have a letter that I must send to Henry.
I know we saw the letter, but I don't know that we picked up her pack.
Oh, I'm sure you wouldn't have left it,
did.
though.
Yeah,
okay.
It was up there on the ruin. So you reacquaint her with her pack, and then after you talk to her for a little bit, she decides that she's going to pretend to still be out of it so that she doesn't have to answer any questions from anybody else throughout the rest of the trip. That happens on the end of the first night, or on the end of the first day of travel. Which
is the 4th day total.
Sorry. That happens on the evening of the 4th day of travel out of Beregrad, and you camp for the night in a small town, small little village, very small. And the village is called, the village is called Bamin, Bamin. It's this small little village. The road that you're on crosses over a little bridge across a creek. There's a pond there, and then there is this small collection of houses, maybe like 10 or 15 houses that are built there, kind of right along the lake. And it's forested as most of Alaron is, and the road continues on heading east. But you kind of camp here in this little village overnight. There are people here, but the word that you keep getting is because you guys get there as the sun is starting to set, and you hear the people who live there. They're saying, well, better bunker down for the night. Better bunker down. Better hunker.
Nope.
It's what they say. It's what they say in Bayman. They say better bunker down.
Bunker down. I barely know her.
They're like, hunker down for the night. We don't go out at night. So if you need anything from anyone here, like any goods or anything you want to trade, we better do that quick before the sun goes down. We don't go out at night.
Are you worried about manticores?
Not manticores, no. Wolves and other creatures that come out at night. You can see them actually like scanning the sky. Like even sometimes the owls and the other the ravens and the crows will get a little bit aggressive as well. So we go in at night, we don't come back out. You can see that some of these homes here in this village have actually set up like spikes and other gates and things around their home that look relatively fresh. Some of these stakes that they've put up are they look like they've been chopped down fairly recently and placed. You also see there are quite a few homes that are empty, like people have abandoned their homes. And when you ask about that, they say, "Oh yeah, the Smith family, they moved into town. They headed to Redlam. They didn't want to live out here where the wild seemed to be creeping in more and more every day."
So this is recent then. It looks like your fortifications are newer, and the people moving away is also a recent development.
I mean, well, yes. This is like an older man who's probably lived here for his whole life, within a day's ride of Redlam, and maybe has never even been there. Just a very local folk. And he's like, "Oh, well, I mean, it's definitely gotten worse in my day. I mean, I can remember when I was a boy, you could be out at night swimming in the pond and, stay out, sleep under the stars. And nowadays, nobody risks that anymore. You never know what will set upon you in the night."
Nobody talks to each other anymore. They're always just on their phones.
Nobody works anymore either,
Nobody wants to work.
Yeah, nobody wants to work.
Oh, man. I love the articles of like every generation saying that about the new generation.
Yes. So if there's any trade you want to do or anything like that, I'd recommend you do it now before the sun goes down, because people here in Bayman, they don't stay out at night. But if you're looking for a place to stay and get out of the rain, you can take your pick of any of the homes that are not occupied anymore, because I don't think they're coming back.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's not creepy.
You said the Smiths left?
That Smith's house sounds fancy.
When he says the Smiths, he points you over to actually the blacksmith shop. But yeah, there is a home. There is a home attached.
Okay, and I was thinking. Oh, you went to the fantasy name generator again. It came up with Smith.
Every time you say the Smiths, I always think girlfriend in a coma. I know. Anyway, no, yeah. So the black
and if a double decker bus.
So with the Smith like the yard, you can pull the wagons in and get the horses at least within like a little a wall that separates out the yard from the rest of the village, and then there is room for most of you to go into the actual smithy or the home, and then there's a little barn a little ways off that the rest of you can go in. So I guess I want to know, where would you guys like to set up for the night? In the barn, in the smithy, or in the home? Tobias and Gardenia are in the home, just a heads up.
Well, really quick, does this little community, does it coincide with anything on the ancient map we found?
Well, at this point, you don't probably want to get the map out because it's raining and you don't want to damage the map in any way.
Okay, but I don't remember. Okay.
Not specifically.
Okay, we'll take a look later.
I moved you over to the actual map of Bayman. And for any of our listeners, just a heads up, this map was actually made during one of my streams on Twitch that I have not done for months and months, but I would like to get started doing that again. But anyway, yes, so this map was made with some input from our listeners.
I think either the smithy or the barn would be fine with Guy.
Which one's closer to the house? Because if our hired help or our payers are going to be at the house, I think I'd rather be close to them.
Yeah, where's Riley going to be sleeping?
The smithy is right there next to the house. The barn is actually not the smith's barn. It's somebody else's barn that no longer lives here. But the barn is also where the horses will be.
I know it's going to be hard for Guy, but I think we should prioritize the money.
Which means...
staying by the people who, are paying us. Yeah.
Okay, then that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So then the way that it's going to play out then is in the home, we have Tobias and Gardenia, as well as Ryla. In the smithy, we have you all, and as well as Calvin and Delar. And then in the barn, we have the family.
And Serena's with us too?
Serena's with you as well. Yeah. So the smithy is kind of packed. Actually, no. Yeah. You can keep Serena. I mean, at some point they're like, hey, let's bring her in here so she can rest in a bed. And then you're like, no, we got this. We'll set up some blankets here for her.
Calvin could definitely take the bed, though. I'm sure he's not used to such dismal accommodation. I'm just curious to see if he accepts it or if he's like trying to stick around with us.
Okay. So there is you're trying to gather some info and being a little deceptive. So it's not a big lie. So what I'll say is, just because you're all trying to figure this out, I would like you, Sylvie, to make a deception check because you have ulterior motives, but you can make it with advantage because of the situation.
Okay. That is a 16.
All right.
Oh, man.
So he rolled a natural 16. Okay, he says, "Yeah, I'll take the bed. That would be very nice." And he goes into the home.
Good night.
What's everyone's passive insights?
13 for Ornan.
11 for Guy.
17 for Mogram.
10 for Sylvie.
Mogram, there was a change in Calvin's demeanor at the mention of leaving you to go sleep in the bed. You I think you get the impression he wasn't going to sleep in the bed, and then his demeanor changed when Sylvie offered it to him, and then he decided to go, and that there was a definite change in his like the feel in the room around him got a little colder.
Oh man, I hope it didn't make us an enemy. I was just curious if he was going to stay with us.
Honestly, I'm kind of hoping we didn't hurt his feelings. I don't know. Ugh.
He's a little bit of a stage 5 clinger, though, especially if you're not that into him. You might want to cut him loose early.
Delar has found like a little stick he's playing fetch with Pranceful, and he's like, what's a stage 5 clinger? I don't know what that means.
That's when you have to go to the bathroom and you've wiped a couple of times and it's just hanging on. You got to keep wiping it until those stage 5 cleaners just get right off your tush.
It's like there's a marker back there.
Yes, thank you. He looks at you, Ornan, and he's like, what do you do about that? Like, how do you, like you just keep wiping? Like, but it gets so sore.
Well, that's why they call it stage 5. It gets rightly burning back there.
And he's like, yeah, it does. And then he goes back to playing fetch. Anyway. All right.
Hey, Deela, did you want to go sleep in the house too? Or did you want to stay here with us?
He kind of looks around and you can sense his demeanor change as well. He's like, no, I want to stay with you guys.
Okay.
I need to stay with you guys. Lady Myra said that you guys would protect me. So I need to stay with you guys.
Well, if you want to stay in the house, I can go in the house with you.
Delar, why don't you go with Guy into the house?
We'll take Pranceful. Just get you someplace a little more comfortable. You've been sleeping on the ground, and there's not really a lot here in the blacksmith's shop for us to sleep. Do you want to sleep on an anvil?
No.
Yeah. So let's get you in the house. We'll find you a nice little corner, maybe some old blankets or some hay or something.
Okay, sure, yeah. All right, so then Guy and Dila, you guys go into the house. You can see that the house is relatively small. It's got like one bedroom, and then it's just got like a living space. And Tobias is in the bedroom, and Gardenia is she's in the living space. Ryla is also in the living space, and who else? Oh, Keldon is in the kind of the family room area, but it is drier here than in the blacksmith shop as well as than in the barn, and you'll be more comfortable here for sure. Okay, so now we have everyone bedding down for the night. We have Ornan and Sylvie and Magram out in the smithy, and we've got Guy and Dilar and Calden and a couple other people in the home. Is there anything anybody wants to do tonight?
Did Calden react to me coming into the house as well? I feel like I'm trying to keep him not angry in case my fears are totally unfounded.
So you're actively trying to like figure out what he's feeling. Why don't you make an insight check?
I guess I'm not trying to figure out what he's feeling. I guess I'm just trying to put on the airs that there's nothing weird between us, or that there's no he doesn't need to feel like there's something weird between us.
Okay, right. I'm gonna have you make a deception check. You can make that with advantage as well, because you got Pranciful there with you and Dilar.
Like the fact that we left him out of his watch and also told him to go inside, like it was a coincidence. It's not personal.
Yeah, and I got a 21 deception.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so yeah, you can see that he's not as like chummy with you as he kind of was, but he's also not like it's kind of that kind of thing where you start to hang out with somebody along a lot, and then you kind of start to hit your rhythm of what the relationship actually is, and you get the impression maybe he's finding that rhythm, and he realizes that maybe the friendship or the connection that you guys had is not what he thought it was, but it's not necessarily bad. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's not much to me.
Awesome.
People get bored of me. No. Kidding. There's so much to Guy. He's so interesting.
He's gay. He likes classical music. There's many interesting things about him.
Not totally gay, not totally straight.
No, nobody got that.
Oh, what's that from?
Okay, never mind.
No.
It's a Willem Dafoe quote in an interview. It's a sound on TikTok. Never mind.
Okay.
Is it from when was he talking about Boondock Saints?
I honestly have no idea. I know it from the TikTok audio. I thought at least Scott would have backed me up on that, but
I've heard it. I've heard it too. Yeah, but I can't remember where it's from.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, you guys are here in Bayman. Anybody want to talk to anybody or have any conversations this night?
Is Serena in the smith with us?
Yes, she is. Yeah, once everybody kind of settles down for the night, she actually kind of sits up and stops pretending to be asleep. And you guys have a conversation. She asks you like how it feels for you to be leaving your home and leaving your family. And, are you scared like she is because she's never known anything but Barograd? And, she's just kind of trying to get some comfort and some reassurance from you.
Well, life has chapters, and then it eventually comes to an end, and I think we're just changing chapters this time round. Everything's going to work out. Don't you worry.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just find myself thinking on Henry.
Oh, you're much better off now that you've left him. The things you told me he did.
I am, for sure.
Well, I'm rightly glad you've moved on.
He left the toilet seat up.
It was the Miracle Whip over mayonnaise. I could not handle that.
That's horrifying.
I said we could be a 2-jar family, and he insisted it had to be Miracle Whip.
2-jar family.
Yes, Miracle Whip and Best Foods mayonnaise. Yes.
It's Hellman's.
There's room in the fridge.
In Alaron Barony, it's Hellman's.
It's Hellman's, yeah, fantastic. All right, awesome. Anything else anybody wants to talk about this night? You can hear animals tonight. You can hear what sounds like a little bit different than the coyotes yipping and howling. You can hear the more the melodious howls of wolves out in the woods. You can hear the hooting of owls. You can hear the sounds of like animals fighting, like the hiss and scratch of cats that are going at it. You can hear like dogs barking. It seems like nothing, like none of the animals around have settled down for the night, like you would expect them to. Right? Everything seems kind of on edge as far as the animals are concerned. Even like the cows in the field are mooing, and you can hear them moving around, like the bells on their neck. You can hear them jingling a lot more than you would expect at night.
Well, should we do some watches? I know we're undercover, but I'd feel better if someone were awake, just making sure we're safe.
Yeah, I think that is a reasonable idea. I'd be happy to take the first stab at it this time.
All right, I'll do the middle ground.
I don't mind taking the last shift.
And Serena, you just rest up. You start feeling better.
Like, okay, I will. Yes, I'm actually feeling quite well already, but once we're in Redlam, I'll just kind of slip away and I'll start over. Thank you so much, Ornan, for talking to me.
Oh, of course.
What I'm going to have everybody do is I'm not going to have you guys roll tonight. I think you guys are in a relatively safe place, and what you notice is things that are obvious. At one point you guys are in the smithy. The part where you're sleeping in is not exactly completely closed off, but it's got a wall around it. And at one point you hear racing by the side of the smithy, you hear like the sound of paws running. And then all of a sudden, like 3 seconds later, you hear like two dogs just going at it like they do, and just fighting. And then it breaks off after a couple seconds, and you hear like running off.
When
in
you
different
say
directions.
going at it,
Yeah, going at it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. But no, you like fighting, like animals fighting. At one point, you hear cats hissing, and that and then you can you can just tell that Bayman is uneasy here at night.
This place has bad energy.
It does have a bad energy. The night goes on. You do your watches, and you wake up in the morning, and you get everything ready to go. Everybody survived the night. Nobody got attacked or anything, but it was restless to some degree, just because of all the noise around. But
any dead animals the next morning?
Yes, as a matter of fact, there is. You do find a dead cat, and you find a dead owl, actually. And that's what you find here. You also see a couple of like dogs like limping a little bit around the village. Sorry for anybody who loves animals. I'm sorry that this might be a little bit triggering, but yeah, so sorry about that. I probably should have given a warning beforehand.
Do the animals seem less anxious during the day when we're getting ready to leave?
They just seem to not want to be around each other, right? Like the dogs that are limping around, they are giving each other a wide berth, right? Cats are walking around like solitary. You see like a cat lounging up against a wall, and you might expect another cat to kind of come around and kind of start sniffing, but the cats don't. They don't go near each other.
Are there people milling about at all?
Yeah, people are up. You have people up, and you have people like, saying, all right, come on, old Bessie, and trying to get their cow moving, because cows are always named Old Bessie. And you have another one who's like, come on, Buttons, it's time to start rounding up the sheep. And then one of the dogs like will come to his call. But at one point, like the dog starts to like look around, and then he's like, hey, Buttons, back to me. And I has to like kind of grab the dog by the collar and kind of like look him in the eyes and talk to him. It's almost like even the tame or the trained animals are starting to maybe act a little bit more wild.
I think Sylvie would kind of go over to that farmer and say something along the lines of, it seems like something around here is maybe making the animals extra skittish. Seems like all of them are acting a little funny. How long's that been going on?
Say, oh, well, it's been getting worse over the last couple of months, but I mean it's honestly it's been this way for a while, for a year or more, but just seems in the last couple of months, I mean, people have been packing up and leaving there. Can you believe that a week ago we had 2 milk cows that tried to kill each other? Milk cows, the most docile things we have here. And these are not the bulls. These are the milk cows, heavy laden udders just dragging on the ground, and they were charging each other, trying to kill each other.
Were they swinging udders at each other?
They were swinging
milk
udders.
Flying?
Milk flying. It was
trying
like
to
that
squirt
movie
each other in the
Kung-
eye.
It was like that movie Kung Pao.
That's so dumb.
No, I've never seen the like of it in all my life. Anyway, I've got to go get my sheep and see if any of them are missing. You never know.
Buttons ran down the road there. You might want to go catch him too.
Hopefully he's after the sheep. Buttons, back to me. And then he kind of heads off. The wagons are all loaded up, and Ryla's itching to move. She's like, all right, we can make it to Redlam by nightfall. Let's start moving and finish this.
Move him out. Rawhide.
Awesome.
I don't know the words. I just know the rawhide part. So on the way, can I get Calden to come sit on the drive next to me at shotgun?
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Yeah, he's just next to you.
And I'll try to have like a little bit of a more private conversation. I know everybody's in the back, but I'll try to like just keep it a little hushed between the two of us.
He's like, yeah, Guy, what's up? What do you need?
I've been trying to just, I don't know, ignore things for a while, but it seems that
He puts his hand on your leg.
I had questions for you, honestly, about your book and about how you do what you do.
He looks around.
Don't worry, they're fine. Don't worry about them.
About how I do what I do?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll tell you about mine. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Jeez.
No, make a persuasion check.
Okay. That is an 18.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, how does yours work?
So, honestly, before this year, nothing. There was nothing. And through some different circumstances, this book, this is it's actually a grimoire, I believe it'd be called, owned by an ancient family. It kind of fell into my possession. And as I began to read it and study it, I found that there were some passages in there that I understood, and that I started to feel some changes in myself and what I was able to do. And I noticed some physical changes too. It's strange, I know. But it's all very new for me. And it's not something I sought out, but I feel maybe like this book sought me out. That makes sense.
I've heard of strange things like that happening, yes. This book sought you out. So, like, the book has a mind of its own?
No, I don't know if it has a mind of its own, but it has a history. It has a presence, but I wouldn't say it has a mind. I don't know.
Fascinating. That is vastly different than how I do what I do. My book does not work that way. My book, and he kind of looks around and he pulls out his book, and it's a leather-bound tome, large, like organic chemistry sized textbook. Okay,
so big.
It's hefty. It's hefty. The paper is a little bit thicker than that, but and he kind of looks around and he opens it up, and inside you see drawings and scrawlings and different symbols. And he's like, my book was empty, and it took years of effort and learning and seeking out different information to fill up my book. See, your book gives you knowledge, we'll say. My book, I had to seek out the knowledge and put it into my book. Does that make sense?
So you think you're better than me, is what you're saying. I'm kidding.
I don't have power innately inside of me. Every ounce of power that I have had to seek out on my own.
Interesting. Okay. I was wondering, but it's also kind of a taboo subject, I feel there's been a little distance between us, and maybe that's just the nature of our whole the whole time we've known each other, there's had to be secrets. There's had to be things that we kept out from conversation.
Well, I've been out in Asteria in the islands to the south, and there it's not nearly. Aona doesn't have the sway down in the islands that she has here in Via Severia, and my predilection for seeking out knowledge was not nearly as frowned upon there as it is here. However, there's not as much to learn in Asteria. It's a series of islands and archipelagos that doesn't have the information, the repositories that Via Severia has.
I've heard they're all pirates and Vikings out there.
Basically, yes. Yar. Yar. Dang it.
Yar.
Yar, Leif Erikson.
Yar, shivering me timbers.
Calvin kind of fades off as he's talking.
Okay.
And this trip continues on. As you continue on this road, over time, you realize that you are traveling downhill, gradually, not a steep grade, but just gradually going downhill more and more and more. And at some point, you come around a turn in the road and you can see out in front of you. The ground falls away down a slope as you come down out of the Alaron Heights, which is where the Shadowpines, the whole Alaron Barony is up in these heights, up in these alpine kind of hills and forests. And you see that the land opens up around this large lake. This lake that you know is called Crimson Vale Lake. You can see to the north that a river comes down out of the mountains to feed this lake. You can see that the river that you've been following, the river is the Bedin River that you've been following. That feeds into this lake as well. The lake is called Crimson Vale Lake, and you can see that the Bedin River continues on south out of the lake, and you would know that continues on, going down towards the next lake, which would be the Stillwater Lake, which is where the capital Mirloff is. And if you continue following it, it will go through the Siren Valley, which is kind of this mountain valley. It passes between through the mountain range that's down there further south, and then eventually out to another lake and then out to the sea. This is a major waterway, and you are here at the north end of this waterway here in Crimson Vale Lake. But most importantly, on this side of the lake, on the south side, you can see that there is this there is this sort of peninsula of land that juts out into the lake on the south side. And there you see the city of Redlam. Redlam is a true city, the only true city in all of Alaron Barony. Baragrad was large, but it was a large town. Redlam is a walled city. We're talking turreted walls. We have round watchtowers. We have 3 different gates to get into the city, and the rest of it is protected. There is a port on the north end that feeds out into Crimson Vale Lake. You can see the different the different districts just from your vantage point. It seems like the castle is a little bit south of central in the city. It's a large, sprawling complex. You can see that there are squares and there are markets. You can see that there is sort of a northeast section of the city. There is a western section. There's like a southern section. You can even from this vantage point from up here, if you squint and look really hard, you can see the different buildings that would represent maybe some temples or some churches. There's also from here in just north of the castle, you can see this other unique building. It is a large tower, but it's not a round tower. It's like if you take a round tower and then you split it in half and pull those 2 halves apart, and then you also have a central building that is in the center of the city, and you would know that is called the Prolian Archives, and you know that the castle here is called Umbral Pike Keep. People who have passed through Redlam before, you know that there are a few different temples. You would know that there is definitely a church of Aeona here. You've heard that there's a chapel to Torm. And then outside of the city, there are a couple of other chapels. You know, there's a shrine to Sylvanus, as well as a temple to Myliki on the outside of the town. But other than that, this is a
My leaky peenie.
So her name is Myliki.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, this city is a large city. Anything you want, you can probably get here in the city. Okay, and that is what you see as you approach the city of Redlam. You start heading down out of the hills, gradually getting lower and lower until you approach the southern gate of the city. When you approach the southern gate of the city, there are some guards out in front, and they start calling you in, waving you on, saying, "Come on in before the sun sets. We close the gates. Nothing comes in after dark." And you're not the only people traveling here into the city. That's kind of their mantra that they are chanting as people approach the city. Come in. We close the gates at dark. They don't open again till dawn. You don't want to be out here after dark. And you enter into the city. As you get inside the city walls, Ryla pulls the carts over, kind of off on a little side street. She informs you all, "Well, this is where we leave you. This is as far as this trip goes. So, if you all want to unload your belongings, if you need help getting your things where you need to be, just let me know. I can find some help, some porters or some other people to help you get your things where they need to go. But if you're done traveling with me, then you're free to take your things and go on your way. And don't forget, if you ever need to travel again, just look for me here. I'll be back and forth to Redlam throughout the next couple of months until I figure out where I want to go to."
I thought you were going to white fang us there for a second. You're going to say, "Oh, you can just get your things and you can go on, get out of here. Go on, get."
I thought you were going to say, "We hope you have a great time."
So anyway, so after she gives that little spiel, you see like the family starts gathering up their belongings and they start moving off. She comes to you all, and she reaches down and grabs a little coin purse off of her belt, and she reaches in and she says, "Thank you for all of your help with this travel," and she gives each of you 5 gold for your 5 days of traveling and guarding the caravan.
After what we found in the crypt of the Forgotten Queen, this feels like so little.
Yeah,
I know. But I mean, it'll keep you guys living here in the city, for weeks. That 5 gold.
I'll say to her, "Well, thank you. It was a pleasure working for you, Ryla. And now that we're not working together, there wouldn't be any, I don't know, HR issues were we to get to know each other a little better. A little less formally."
Good heavens, Guy.
I'm good at this.
We're standing in the middle of the crowd now.
I guess we're about to find out.
You guys have entered into the city through the south gate, and you guys have entered a part of the city called the Sweet Quarter. She says, "I tell you what, if you want to buy me a drink, I'll be at the Oaken Throne, and I'll be here for the next couple of nights. Find me there."
Hubba hubba. I'm so tired. I didn't say that. I have no idea what I'm saying.
No, it was great.
All right. After Ryla kind of gives you that spiel, Tobias comes on over, and he says, "All right, well, I appreciate all of your help with everything, and what did he agree to pay you? Was it the same?"
Missed opportunity for Tobias to basically say, "So I'll be at the Oaken Tavern here for the next couple of days if you want to."
So Tobias, not that we're not be working together anymore.
This connection is undeniable.
He says, yeah, see, he pays you each 5 gold as well. I think that was the agreement, right?
Well, if I recall, I said if there was blood, we'd get paid a little extra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you each get paid 10 gold.
Okay.
I'll take it.
He says, I appreciate all that you've done for me in Beregrad and on the road. You've been essential for not only for me and my life, but for the barony. You are, I mean, I can't grant you the title Heroes of the Barony, but to me, you're heroes.
Heroes? Question mark, maybe, is what you call it?
Did you hear that? Heroes of the Barony. We are now officially Heroes of the Barony.
Wow, that's quite the honor.
Thank you, Tobias. Thank you.
I said I cannot officially. Well, okay. So I appreciate all of this joshing, but I do. I have one more wish of you, because of everything that's happened. I will need to go make a report to the Baron. I would hope that should the need arise for a testimony to the Baron of all that happened, that I can be counted on you. And you, Gardenia, and she nods and she says, of course. But also you four, you've been here through all of it. I would hope that you would speak for me to the Baron if needed.
Well, I don't know how long we're going to be in town, but I mean, I'm sure Gardenia could give word on our behalf.
He says, tell me where you're staying, if you've decided where you're going to stay, and if the Baron needs you, I mean, frankly, if the Baron needs you, then the Baron needs you. And, as a favor to me or not, if the Baron calls for you, then the Baron's calling for you, if you understand what I'm saying.
But, how's this? We don't know where we're going to be staying yet, so I'll be in touch, and you don't need to worry about it. I can be in touch.
Or we'll come find Gardenia.
But if he needs you, how will he find you?
He's the Baron. It seems like if he needs us, like you said, he'll find us.
I'll be in touch. I'll talk with you every night. It'll be fun. We'll be like schoolgirls. Giggling and gossiping.
I don't know how you'll find me. I'll be in the castle.
Oh, don't worry about it. I have my ways.
Oh, you'll be in the castle. That's where we'll find you.
Yeah.
Like the castle. This is not a video game where you can just walk in the front castle and go talk to the king, right? This is sorry, he doesn't say that, but
we don't. I'll let you know. We'll find our place where we're going to stay tonight, and I'll let you know. Okay?
Make a persuasion check.
That's a nat 20 for a 27.
Hell yeah, we've never let you down so far.
He says, for anybody else, I would insist, but for you, I trust you with all of my being. You've saved me on multiple occasions, and you've proven to be incredibly trustworthy and true friends. And he claps you each on the shoulder, and then he says, Gardenia, let's make for the castle. And then he takes the wagon full of treasure, and he leaves you. I want everyone to make perception checks.
Oof.
Actually, or you can use your passive perception.
That's okay. I'm going to roll it.
I rolled my passive perception, which is 14.
Mogram got a 12.
Ornan got a 14.
Sylvie got a 6.
All right. As you are standing here, you all split up and people start moving in different directions. Family moves off one way. You've got Serena thanks you for everything, and then she kind of looks around and slips away into the alleyways and streets of the city. You've got Calden, who he informs you that he's been here before and he's going to get a room at the Oaken Throne.
Okay.
He would like to meet up again for dinner or something with all of you. And then eventually the four of you are left alone with Dilar.
Okay, I would like to take out the note that I got from the pastoral of Shantea back in Beregrad and see where I'm supposed to go.
As you open up the note, it just has all it says is Thistledown Threads.
Okay.
As anything else anybody wants to do right now?
Ornan wants to find a bank.
Okay.
Or somewhere where he can send money.
And I'll say, I'll take Dilar. We're going to go find somebody. Say, everybody, now would be a good time to tell Dilar how much you appreciate him and how you wish him the absolute best.
Whoa, wait, you're not taking Dilar away, are you?
I thought the plan was... I understand what you're saying, Guy, and I get it. Dilar, You are such a great little lad, and you love berries and cream.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
Berries and cream.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh, that's so great.
And you've got some things you're learning about yourself. Guy will get you taken care of. You're going to be safe. You're safe with wherever Guy's going to take you.
As you guys are talking,
Sylvie, what did you?
I'm cutting you off. You guys are all kind of talking and like putting your hands on his shoulder and giving, like, Sylvia's about to say something really meaningful, and then somebody bumps into you, and you guys kind of look around and you see like crowds of people are moving north. And you hear like this little chatter in the background. You hear like, oh, can you believe that? Oh my goodness, it's going to happen. And you can't make out necessarily what people are saying, but people are moving north. Some people are like hustling. That's happening around you.
Is there a hanging?
We better see what's going on here. Mogram's going to start heading that way.
This is the hubbub of lamplighters.
As you say, is there a hanging? You hear somebody looks over and says, "No, a burning. They got a witch. There's a stake in Cinder Square."
Sylvia's gonna glare at Guy and be like, "You are not leaving him in the city."
I will put my hand on Sylvie's shoulder and I'll just quickly say, "He won't be in town. That's the point."
Oh, I gotcha. Fair enough.
Oh, it's named Cinder Square. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
That's not ominous at all.
Well, it's not officially called Cinder Square. This here in the north part, north central, this is the Church of Aona. And what they kind of explain to you is just north, there is a square. It never really had a name, but now they call it Cinder Square, as it is out in front of the Church of Aona. And that is where everyone is headed. Are you guys following the crowds?
Yeah, we got it. We got to see what's going on with this.
Mogram would.
At a safe distance.
I'm
Actually,
worried.
no. You know what? You guys can follow the crowd. I'm going to take Dilar and try to find this other place. I don't think he needs to see this.
I don't like this.
What, splitting up?
No, the lamplighters.
Dilar, it's okay. Just come with me. And we'll go with Thistlethread.
We're meeting back up at the
Oak Tavern.
Thistledown Threads.
Thistledown Threads. I'll meet you back at Oaken Throne.
At the Oaken Throne. All right. We'll be there tonight.
As you guys start moving north through the city, Guy, you ask for directions, and what you're told is that Thistledown Threads, it sounds like a shop that's over in Lakeside. No, wait, sorry. It's over in High Ward on Silverhand Lane, which is a nice part of town. People say, Thistledown Threads. Yeah, they make really good things. And they kind of look at you like, are you sure that you can afford it? You know, that kind of thing. You and Dealer head off north. You go past the temple, the Church of Torm. And then as you're all kind of start out heading in the same direction. You go past the castle. The castle is this heavily fortified structure. You can tell that there are like buildings inside of the castle. It's like a wall with like fortified buildings inside. There's a tall tower that you can see over the wall. And then you split up, and heading into High Ward off a little further to the east, we have Guy and Dilar heading towards Silverhand Lane. Then we have Mogram and Sylvie and Ornan, who head north through this large open square to the north of the castle. This square does have a name. This square is never mind. This square does not have a name yet. You go through this square and you can see that you're passing kind of next to this the archives that I described it earlier. The round tower that's kind of split in half, and there's like an extra building inside, but it's still very, very tall, the Prolian Archives. And then you move past that, and you can see the Church of Aona. It's got manicured lawns, it's got a fence around it, and in the front of the chapel, I'm going to move you all over to this map. Guy, you are not there, but I have you on here anyway, so you can see. You guys come along this street. You know how in like medieval cities you'll have streets that are set up above and then like stairs that go down to streets down below. You're on this kind of upper level street, and you're kind of moving between some of these houses, and you come to this large crowd of people. They are gathered up around the banister here, looking over down into this square that they call Cinder Square. As you look out here in the center of this little courtyard, you see a sight that some of you have probably seen before. As you approach this crowd, you see gobs and gobs of people just looking down. You can see that surrounding the square, you see some guards. These guards are wearing the red and white tabard or surcoat of the Baron. Okay, they are standing kind of on the periphery, and they are looking at the crowd, and they are also looking towards the center of the square. In the center of the square, what we see this big pile of wood stacked up with this big post coming up out of the middle of it, and strapped to the post, we see a woman. We'll talk about her in a second. Surrounding this woman and this pile of wood, we see a lot of different figures. They're all dressed in similar, well, I shouldn't say they're all dressed in similar robes. They're all wearing black and gold, which is kind of the symbol or the color of Aona. And they all are bearing some kind of iconography, the flame motif. The people that we see, though, we see standing to the west, we see like a man in his 30s who is dressed in robes. He is some sort of priest of Aona. And down to the south, we see another man. This man is dressed in a little bit more ornate robes. He is probably in his 50s. He's got a gray, like silvery beard, and he is actually addressing the crowd. To the north of this pyre, we see another priest or prelate. We see this woman who's also in her 30s, wearing robes that are more like the other 30-year-olds, so less extravagant, but some sort of official representative of the, quote, Church of Aona. And then between those three prelates, and we'll just say the older man is an archprelate, and then the two others are prelates, which are officiants in the actual Church of Aona. We have two warriors, and they are standing next to two figures, and I'm going to describe these figures. They are well, there's a man and there's a woman, and the man is kind of hunched over. He looks unkempt. He's wearing long robes. He's got long, like, scrolls pinned to his robe. The woman is similarly dressed. She's wearing a robe of some sort. You can see that she's got a book on her hip, and you can see that she also has like these short little prayer rolls or something pinned to her robe. You see that she's got like a flame motif, like tiara, like a tiara or circlet on her head. You can see that she is also like she looks uneasy. Both of these figures look uneasy, and standing next to them, you see warriors dressed in like white tabards with black trim, bearing the iconography of Aona. And these warriors are each standing very, very close to these kind of these figures who have these scrolls pinned to their robes. I want Magram. Magram, what's your insight? Your passive is like what, 17?
Yeah, passive is 17.
Magram, you know exactly what these groups of people are. The warrior and the man with the scrolls, and then the warrior and the woman with the scrolls. You know exactly what these are. Magram, in your younger days, there were times where you may have been talking with some of your colleagues or your cohort about different ideas and different theories. And this, what you're seeing, is a theory come to life that you remember hearing about it from some of your colleagues, that they were contemplating a way to use arcane power against itself, to let the Church of Aona sanction the use of arcane magics in order to combat arcane magics. And the theory was that you would have somebody who would study arcane magic, and you would ward them as best you could from the corruption of the arcane. And you would also have some sort of guardian or a watcher who would watch over them to make sure they did not become corrupted by the arcane powers that they were wielding. And that is what you are seeing right here. 2 different groups of these, these heretics for Aeona, if that makes sense what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So it looks like what you're seeing is you're seeing a woman on the pyre. You're seeing 2 groups of these zealot, inquisitorial heretics that are sanctioned. And then surrounding that, you see these 3, what you would expect to be like regular prelates and representatives of the Church of Aeona. This is kind of a weird group that you've never seen before. But as you approach this older man at the bottom, the archprelate, he finishes up speaking. And so you didn't actually hear anything that he said, except for something about a witch and Aeona's justice. He turns around and he points at this woman who is tied to the pyre. Sylvie, you recognize this woman.
Oh no.
This is a woman named Jelowin, and she is an elf. She is older. She's got the age lines that comes with advanced age for elves. You know that she is a practitioner of arcane power because, I mean, you knew her when you were growing up. She was around in your community. She is doing the same thing that you are doing, and it looks like she's been caught. Before anybody can do anything, as the archprelate points back at this woman that you know, Sylvie, you see one of the prelates, these more traditional followers of Aeona, has a torch and starts to step forward towards this pyre. But before they can, both of these arcane heretics, they turn towards this pyre and they each cast a firebolt at it. And instantly, this wood pile that is soaked in oil just goes up. And before you know it, you can't even see Jelowin because the flames have gotten so big, but you can hear her screams. As you watch, you see the woman who cast the spell. You see her start to shake her head and kind of slap the side of her head. You see the man who cast the spell turn and stick his finger down his throat to throw up, to get the taint of using arcane power out of him so he can still stay pure to the visions of Aeona. And that is where we are stopping for tonight.
Oh, jeez.
Dude,
Not Jello.
I don't like it, but I like it.
Jelowin.
Not Jello.
I know. I realized as I said it out loud. Fantasy name generator.
Yeah, that was a good call, dude.
I'm so glad Delar wasn't there to see that.
Yeah.
It is. It's wild. You are seeing the introduction, at least here, of a new sect of Aeonan Inquisitors who use arcane power against arcane users.
Ugh.
All right. Well, hey, on that note, thank you guys for playing. This was a fun one. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, don't forget.
You left off on such a high note, Paul. I mean, I'm feeling so good.
I know. Oh, there's more. We're in a big city now. All kinds of opportunity for some fun. Anyway, go check out our Discord, and if you want to know what the city of Redlam looks like, go become a patron. You can see it on our wiki. You can see the city of Redlam, and as it grows and as new places are developed and as we discover new things, they will pop up on the map as well. And until we get together next time, we hope you have a great time.
Go buy a button.
Nailed it.